This is my ZTR, and that tire there has had a leak since day one. Well, I've took it off, and I did find the leak. You see there's a little tiny, I mean, it's just a minor, tiny leak. I can't even find the hole. So I'm gonna put some slime in it, and that will, I guarantee you, that will fix it. What I wanted to tell you, this is not a commercial grade lawnmower. This is a homeowner's lawnmower. And I was mildly surprised when I saw the bearings in here. The bearings, let me see if I can get the light just right. The bearing, here, let me get a flashlight. I have a flashlight. The bearings go from one end all the way to the other. Now there is a sleeve. Let me get the sleeve. There's a sleeve that fits in there, and then the axle goes through this sleeve. So this thing rides on bearings. I mean, really good bearings. I'm very surprised. So I will have to put a concerted effort into making sure these are greased well. Here's the grease fittings. And since it's close to this end, it comes out this end before it goes to the other end. So what I'm going to do is turn it over, pull the sleeve out, put some grease down there, put the sleeve back in, and then when I put this on, give it a good greasing. But I just thought you want to see how the valve stem comes out? Maybe some of you didn't know that. This is a valve core remover, and these things just thread in and out. First I thought it was the, why won't you come out? Okay. All right, there it goes. Don't lose it. Tell you what, I'm gonna need both hands because if I lose this, it's the only one I have. I'll be right back. And this is what it looks like. It just threads in there. That little red, that's rubber. That's what seals it. And now I'm going to put this hose right here, and then the other end over this. And I'm going to put about half of this bottle in each front tire because I don't want to have to do this again. I had a tripod out here, but I don't today. I'm gonna bring it down to about where my thumb is there. I got a few things I'm gonna do out here today. My wife's grips right there, the silver things. I'm gonna put them on her bike. My bike, I'm gonna do an internal clutch adjustment on it. Come on. I got to go to the post office. A friend of mine sent me something, and I haven't been able to get by there because I've been on my motorcycle, and I don't carry my post office keys with me on my bike. I just carry my bike keys. And we're planning another trip up to Broken Bow, Oklahoma, up that area. Beaver's Bend Reservoir, not reservoir, it's state park up around there. Come on. And I gotta put some, there we go. Okay, that's it. All right, put this back on and get that other one off. All right, I got all her tires fixed. and took the air breather off and blew the dust off of it. I'm gonna have to change oil in that pretty quick. All right, all this, this is the hackberry tree, where some of my most amazing handlewood has come from this tree right here. And what has happened, and I've learned a lot about this tree. First, I didn't know it was a hackberry, and then somebody looked at the wood and told me it was, and sure enough, that's exactly what it was. And then I learned what spalted meant, and that's basically, it's a spore, a mold spore that gets into the wood and does interesting things to the figure of the wood. Now, there's a sweet spot where you got to remove the wood from the ground, or the wood turns what's called punky, where it's too soft to use. And some of this is, but the majority of it is good usable wood. And right now what I'm doing is cutting it up finally after 2 years. It sat here for 2 years. We had a tree cut down. I'll show you why. The lightning hit it, and it most of it died, and then it got hollow, and it was a big enough tree where if it fell it might have hit our house. That's what the inside looks like. And it looked burned. Here's a piece. Yeah, it was burned. See that? That's black. But let's see. Let me see if I can find a piece. Okay, here's one I cut in the middle. All this is spalted. This, and it's good hardwood. I'm really fortunate. I'm gonna have a, excuse my French, I'm gonna have a shit ton of this stuff. And yes, I will share it with my knife making friends. So I got to do a little more cutting. I don't know if I've cut them small enough for me to pick them up and put them in my trailer. And you may never see this, because what I'm going to do is set the camera up on my tripod. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a fat guy, and I don't usually like to get in front of the camera a whole lot because I'm embarrassed about being this fat. So I'm gonna set the camera up and you know, record me cutting the rest of this up. And if it's just too gross and embarrassing, I won't even upload it, so you'll never see this. We'll see you in a minute. Alrighty. You riding, Breezy? Come on. This is where I'm gonna stack it all until I can cut it down to the handling size where I can, what I'm gonna do is cut it into blocks like 6 inches thick, you know, 8 or 9 inches wide, and as long as the logs are. And when I get that done, I'll do that here. When I get that done, I'm gonna stack it up in here to completely dry out. And then I'll start whittling on it with my table saw and turn it into bigger blocks and send it out and have it stabilized. So let me get this unloaded. All right, here's a perfect example of what punky wood is. These little soft areas in the wood. Here's one, here's one, here's one. The wood otherwise looks great. This is gonna be some beautiful, beautiful wood right here. You know, I'm gonna have to cut around the bad spots, you know. And this is actually the worst of it. The rest of the tree is in much better shape as far as not rotting, not having punky spots in it. So I may not even do nothing with this. I'm gonna put this on the bottom and stack better stuff on top of it. So we'll see. I may not even get to this. I may throw this away if it's just not good enough to bother with. Good Lord. Most of that I couldn't pick up. I had to roll up into the trailer. I had big plans for doing other stuff today, but I don't think that's going to happen. I've done used my backup. I'm going to have to go sit on the porch, but I am going to go pick up that little bit of bark that's on the ground down there so my wife can mow down there. And then when I put all my tools back away and go sit on the front porch and wait for death to come get me. Oh, and you know, my wife's been after me for a couple of years to do this, and I just wanted to say, ladies, when your husband says he'll get around to something, you don't need to nag him every 6 months. It only took me 2.5 years to do this. Come on. All right, I'll get this picked up, and that's it for me today. Wasn't much of a project, but I used up my back. That's it. All right, all cleaned up, all mowed. I don't know what the rush was. It only took me 2 years. All right, now we're gonna go sit on the porch, and I don't know if I'm gonna sit there all day. I may just take a long break and then go to my shop. I want to adjust my internal clutch on my bike, and I want to put my wife's new grips on her bike.